Fur is a part of our heritage, often called the fabric of our nation. The fur trade, fueled by the European fashion for beaver felt hats, forever changed First Nations traditions. In the 20th century, generations of immigrants survived and thrived in the business. Samuel Grossman, a Polish immigrant, started in the fur trade in 1921. Grandson Michael Grossman stepped in, modernizing the collections in the 1980s.
After the First World War, let's say in the mid-40s to early 50s, there were many Jewish immigrants who had worked in the fur trade in Europe and who came to Montreal. That was their trade, and they were hired by various companies which existed here. And slowly the shift changed from the first comers, who were the early Jewish immigrants after the war, through the Hungarians, through the Czechs perhaps, and then to the Greeks, who probably dominate the industry now. I grew up in the fur business. I spent days, afternoons, weekends at the factory and watched my dad. But I never wanted to join the family business, although the industry itself fascinated me. So I went on, I became an architect, I went to business school, I worked for a bank. And then it happened one day that my dad was ill and he was looking forward to a long convalescence, and he asked if I would step in for a month or two. And I did, and it was... that sealed my fate. I was there from then on. I was there for the next 30 years. It was thrilling in the beginning because of the action. We had a factory of about 25 or 30 employees. Furs came in, garments went out. In the meantime, there were all the different aspects of garment making to look after. There was sorting and matching and sewing and assembling and finishing. The other aspect was the material itself, just the sensuality of touching all the different textures, from roughness of long-haired beaver to the silkiness of Alaska seal to the incredible softness of chinchilla. All those were very tactilely sensual.
Montreal was a thriving fur center, staging the trade show NAFM for more than 30 years from the early 1980s. Furriers like Zuki and Natural Furs made international names for themselves. The industry is smaller now, but a new generation is emerging with names like Maison Alama and Lisa Lash, Samuel Grossman's great-granddaughter.
I went over to my uncle's place in Chabanel because fur was becoming so popular in fashion, and I had never owned a fur coat yet. And I said, I think I should take advantage of this before my uncle goes on to other things and, closes the business. And when I went up to his office on Chabanel, I saw all these colorful and bright, fun furs, where I had always assumed that fur was something that my grandmother would wear. But when I saw these fashionable furs, I decided to bring them to my house, wear a few around town, and invite my friends over to take a look at them and try them on.
Lash now runs a trunk show trade in luxurious, colorful, wear-everywhere furs.
The trunk show model works that we have hosts in different cities across North America, and we take over really luxurious addresses for 1 day or 2 days only. Women come and shop the collection.